Alright, so this is getting a little bit hectic. In order, I didn't hit the record button precisely because I just was a bit flustered with what was happening. So when the turn started, the initiative decided that it didn't like us enough to be allies with the UK, so it unfriended India and the United Kingdom, but it decided that Eurasia and the Americans were strong enough, so it decided to keep them. A second assault carrier is also landing inland. I'm throwing max at it with an 8% roll to take it out, but that's probably not going to work. Instead, this army, 3rd Infantry, is going to have to make it to that location before the aliens land and try and trigger the event that happens if you are already at a landing location when it arrives. The other 4 divisions of the American army are following behind. The problem is, a lot of other American units, like 1st ID and whatnot, are still airlifting home from bloody Mongolia and are not available for the fight. So it's going to be a tight one. The American military is going to have to defeat the aliens that are coming out of this assault carrier and then travel south in order to defeat the others that will be at reduced strength but otherwise fighting only 3rd Infantry Division, which is probably going to get chewed up and have to pull out. It's going to be engaging as a Strength 6 division, but there's not many of them, and that's a problem. I'm fighting way under strength for what I wanted to be for my first assault carrier. So what I'm going to do in the meantime instead is consolidate Norway, which I did declare war on with the Eurasian Union, and the British military, which can no longer make itself useful fighting in Brazil, will instead make itself useful fighting in Norway. So that's the much of the 5 divisions of the US military are going to have to engage 2 assault carriers. The use of nuclear weapons may be required, but we will see. Well, we knew this moment would eventually come. We have detected what appears to be the core of an alien army of alien soldiers and war machines in the Manus region, emerging from the UFO that recently landed there. The force appears to be small for now, but is slowly building up its strength. It is likely it will never be this vulnerable again. So here we are. We've got 3 alien armies that have disembarked. Alien armies are at combat value 7.4, but they're at half strength because we've caught them on landing. We, meanwhile, are engaging with our armies that are base 5.7, plus 0.3 from the fact that we've got the station in orbit, plus 2 from the fact that we swapped in our astronaut to advise, so we're engaging at combat strength 6.2, plus we have the regional defense on our side. And if the Russians land in just a moment, we're going to have the numbers advantage too, so we should be able to clear these guys up. I'm just more concerned about the one that's in the south, where it's going to be 3rd and 10th, holding them off until reinforcements can arrive. First Guards Tank Army. Hey, First Guards Tank Army have arrived, and we finished Materials Institute. I'm going to get rid of these texts, and then we're going to watch the battle. So it looks like the northern fight is going our way. We're gunning them down pretty quickly, to be honest, because we have the numbers advantage. The key is going to be then can we get south quickly enough in order to resolve this combat. It's still defensive because we were there on landing. Okay, we're going into confirm assignments. Okay, fantastic. So let's just take a quick stock take. We have 4 armies that are engaging the aliens up here. We have 3 armies that are engaging the aliens, 2 armies that are engaging the aliens here, but they're doing okay, but they are outmatched. They will need reinforcements. The British military has landed in Norway, and I don't think I accidentally processed my India order, so they're going to fight alone. Hopefully they will conquer Norway. Meanwhile, I've got a whole bunch of techs unlocking for my stations that I really should go do building, but I kind of want to watch the battle finish first. So I'm going to go do some quick construction work on my stations as soon as I'm going to maximize agriculture complex because I kind of need that, and then I can start doing some of my stations in full, which I'm kind of happy about. Awesome. Okay. Give me a sec. Okay, I have command boosting counselors in place. Max will be advising the United States for the maximum boost. Our astronaut will be advising the UK to help matters in Norway. If you're wondering why the US is so advanced, it is because I am putting 48% of the economy into military technology, and I have a 71% bonus to investments in military technology. So the United States is not growing economically or scientifically as quickly as it could, although it continues to grow, but to the tune of, 1,000 real GDP points per annum, maybe a bit more. What's happening, however, is the military is just insane, and that's what we need right now. America saves the world. Let's go.
Offering counsel.
Protecting our interests.
I'm not going to need to advise again. Oh, jeez, these guys love timing to get out of the way. How about...
restrain your aggression, we will, with regret, take action.
I don't care. Have some free technology and give me some money. Yeah, just give me 1,200 money. Give me 100. Give me 81. No, you're not going to call that fair. I don't want you to call it fair. Generous. There you are.
Offering assistance.
Making friends and influencing people. Yeah, my movement order didn't work for India, so they've had to relocate. I'll relocate them in a minute. Northern armies are about to go down. There we go. Alien armies. Okay, we've recovered an alien war dog creature. We have, in the absence of words to better reflect, named a war dog. It's been sent for further study. Pre-autopsy assessments confirmed it to be non-sapient. Okay, so it's not truly intelligent. The brain is small, encased with an unusually thick skull, and as with canines, which it is named, the appendages would simply not be capable of operating tools or weapons. War Dog does display some visible commonalities with what we have observed of the primary aliens, suggesting they may originate from the same world, but this creature bears all the hallmarks of a subservient race. This is quite clearly a natural-born killer, perhaps even an apex predator, but trained to obey and to attack. And we have also captured a theropod. Okay, let's read this one as well. Beauty is not skin deep, it is said, and neither, it would seem, is monstrosity. The captive salamander demonstrates neither obvious fear nor compliance, instead bristling with barely withheld aggression at all times. Yet this is clearly no animal. It watches carefully, choosing its moments and its actions carefully, never recklessly. The salamander is a chilling being to find oneself in the presence of. The coiling might of the thing, the eyes that emanate only cold hatred, and most of all the sense that it is patiently waiting for the perfect moment to strike. If it is, as we suspect, a mere foot soldier in a war we do not yet wholly comprehend, it is nevertheless one more than capable of its own decision-making. So they're sending in salamanders and war dogs rather than sending themselves. That makes sense, given we know how few of them there were. We've also got alien assault missions, gain +3 bonus. You can bet that I'm going to be picking that one up because it might allow Max 2 solo assault carriers in the future. Protectorate stole our research. This is all because we're over CP limit, by the way. So our tech is spreading, and I'm kind of okay with this. Okay, so we've destroyed all of the northern armies. Now we're going to deploy everyone south and finish off the southern ones. But the US units, man, at 100% strength against 50% strength opponents with the province defense on their side, this tech level 6.25 against 7, it's just brutal. It's just brutal. And this will not, I'm pretty sure this will not generate hate because this is a defensive engagement. Man, I don't even need the rest of the US military here. I don't need them. I mean, I'll have some attack this Xenoflora, but that's about it. This battle's going to be won on its own.
Public opinion is moving in our direction.
Great. That should bring us back under the control cap. I literally don't care about anything else right now other than killing this. I do care about the agriculture complex. I care about all of this. Let's get Z-Pinch fusion. All of this would normally be really important to me, but right now I'm seconds away from fending off the first assault carrier wave, and I want the salamander interrogation. I want that like that. We'll do more research institutes after that. Aliens suffer -2 on enthrall missions against our control points. All of this is good stuff. All of this is good stuff, but just kill that alien. Alright. I think we're in business. We were caught off guard. Half the US military was away. They were sort of caught napping in that respect, or rather I was caught napping because I had them busy off in Mongolia or whatever. I will not make that mistake again. US military units will now be based at the coastline at all times, ready to deploy wherever in the world their railguns are needed to bring down alien weapon systems. We will deploy the UK armies home because they are expensive to maintain in Norway. The Eurasian Union now has 86 ground-based mission control. I have a bunch of technologies to develop my space stations. Humanity is broadly on my side. The servants and the protectorate are against me. People steal my technology. That doesn't mean that they're at war with me. I have reasonable relations with Exodus, the Resistance, and the Academy, although it's getting more expensive to maintain it as I become more and more ahead. What I am going to do now is probably cut the video. We've just scored a tremendous victory. We've fended off both the attempts by the aliens to use bases to begin the alienation, and we have destroyed assault carriers, which is their attempt to land troops and generate one. There will be more, I don't doubt it, but we've bought ourselves some time, and with all of our Tech 3 buildings coming online, well, I'm about to go on a little bit of an infrastructure building spree to build something that's a little bit more intimidating than the aliens have been used to up to this point. I am going to build the fortress walls that will guard the realms of men, and behind them I will bravely hide until we have ship technology ready to take the fight to them. And here's an idea I haven't tested, by the way. But the way I believe the servants are able to build alien facilities is through the unique Alien Administration Transition Team organization that they get when they do the technology, which means only Mr. Bharat Gilab here is able to build those bases. So if at any point the Resistance discover that Herbert Griffin is working for us, we could turn Bharat Gilab, follow him around every game phase, and if he is doing the build alien facility action, we'll turn his failure rate up to 100%. Which will cause him to fail. Yes, they might detect him, but we know where he lives, so to speak, because we have another member of the servants compromised. So we could potentially block them from doing any more construction. We're going to need Herbert Griffin to be outed in order for that to happen, which is unfortunate, and I don't want to have to assassinate him or anything, so we might turn his natural failure rate up, because even though it's really useful being able to talk to the Resistance at any given time, maybe turning Mr. Gilab here is a good idea. Just a thought. Now I've just auto-resolved my combat with the servants here for the simple reason that I had so little Delta V that if I went into a manual fight I'd probably burn out my engines. But in auto-resolve they just come to you, and that is exactly what I need. So as soon as Foxtrot 32 becomes available, which should be... oh, it'll be in a bit.
Reaching out. We wish that you would see your extremism.
Now, you don't have the MC points right now, Ms. Ioade, so what we will do instead is we'll sell you, have a military science institute in exchange for, what I want is it to be generous, but I also want to take as much of your volatiles and your nobles, because you've got enough nobles, so you don't know what to do with them, I do. Let's go to 2,000 volatiles, and let's go to... nah, it's getting fair, so we'll just call it 200. No. 100. No, we're just going to call it that. Done. Generous. She likes it. We get an extra 3 months worth of noble income and almost a year worth of volatile income, and they like us more. Next turn, if they've got the spare MC, I'll sell them the ISS. Now, that's a nice little present. Okay, the fleet is now available. We can now assault the HAB, the ISS. Marines going in.
Offering support.
We have captured the International Space Station in ISS orbit from the servants. Our teams are going through their records for intel and research that we can use. The HAB took some damage during the fighting. So there we are. Oh, geez, it did take some damage. So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly rebuild this, rekey this as a station that we can sell to the Resistance. The ISS carries some prestige, but to be honest, I don't really need it. I just didn't want the servants to have it. So I want to get rid of this 3 MC points that are associated with it. So as soon as the Resistance can support it, I'll give them a nice little upgraded station to work with, and they can go from there. Self-repairing software is a point along the road. Oh, I want category. Don't know why I hit name sometime. If I check, I'm pretty sure that's a line on the road to getting the Tier 3 research building, which I really, really want. So let's load it quickly. What's the next level of research? Campus, like university or something, isn't it? Research University. Okay, so we now have all of the critical inputs, so it will eventually unlock, which is great. I'm still getting the marine noises playing in my speakers, which reminds me, do I want... No, I don't. I don't want that. And I also don't want railguns, because if I get railguns, I won't be double mounting lasers on my platforms. So the current system is, if you your defense platforms, I believe, mount your best laser, your best cannon, and your best point defense. But if you have no cannon, I think you still mount 2 lasers, although I'll check that. If I'm wrong about that, then I'm going to need to get railguns pretty quickly. Otherwise, I'm going to be firing like a great laser cannon, but also like some 10-inch guns or something against aliens, which might give them the wrong idea about our technological advancement. So now I think I need, from memory... There's so many good technologies here, and they're all in the energy category, which means I'm probably going to want to boost my energy multiplier. But let's just quickly check the engine again. One thing I will say is that after defeating those alien fleets, I think it's defeating those alien armies, the popularity I have around the world is nuts. Like, Americans are really, really happy. I mean, economic growth is static, but inequality is low, democracy is thriving, cohesion is relatively high. But it seems Americans are just really big fans of the fact that their armies just went to Brazil and smacked a whole bunch of aliens that tried to invade our planet. I've also just had to go around and start rekeying some of the stations that we were building because changes to power generation in a patch that just processed means that battle stations take more power, so I'm going to need to use more fusion arrays. It's going to take a while for me to balance Tech 3 stations. We're getting to the point that I never played past in the beta. Remember I said I didn't play past a certain point because I didn't want to spoil myself. So we're getting to the point where I am going blind as well, and I only ever just got to the start. The last time I used Tech 3 stations in the beta, they were balanced very differently. So I will be learning at the same time you are. But yeah, if we look at global popularity right now, we're doing pretty well. 25% of the population agrees with us, 13% with the resistance. That's sort of the resist block. Exodus, Initiative, Academy, middle tier. 20% protectorate, that'll be China. Like the protectorate is basically in full control of China and has basically nothing else. And then submit to the alien 6%. So at least the servants are in the toilet because we've been kicking them repeatedly. I just can't kick them more, even though I want to right now. Because that would invite retaliation when we're starting to get close to the point where we don't have to worry about retaliation anymore. Let's get these colony habs online. Let's fortify some of those facilities. Z-Pinch fusion is almost complete, which is fantastic. Life is good. What I will do... Foxtrot. Oh, Foxtrot can't... until the ISS is upgraded, Foxtrot cannot refuel at the ISS. Anyway, opportunity for later. And so our first shipborne fusion reactor is complete. Oh, great.
Howell, superior of the servants. I am here as an envoy of...
Alright, so she's announced her victory condition, I presume. Support the alien by any means necessary. Build the alien nation. Declare its dominion over Earth at the UN. Joy. Joy, 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 joy. Joy. Fantastic. Well, that takes away from the joy that I was experiencing at the fact we just completed our reactor. But they now have, the servants, I'll click on somewhere they've got, now have their victory condition. Now, the plus side is that this will generate more and more hate between them and the other factions. So things like Exodus and the Academy, the Initiative, will like the servants even less now. On the downside, you'll see that their CP limit is now 509. because they get like plus 100. So there we are. I don't think they're in any danger right now of handing the planet over to the aliens. The servants are kind of weak. They're getting space resources is one thing because the aliens are giving it to them. Basically, they have a great space economy because the aliens are giving them free stuff. Everyone else is kind of struggling in space. The Protectorate is finally starting to get going, so we may nerf them. But to be honest, the Protectorate, they're so far behind, I'm not sure that it's actually worth kicking them while they're down and provoking the aliens. Once we decide to go to total war with the aliens, however, because we're humanity first and not the resistance, the first thing we are going to do after we decide to actually step out of the shadows and fight back is not attack the aliens. No, we're going to beat down on their human friends. How are our allies doing? The resistance is at 81 MC. I want them to build more MC, please. The economy is doing okay. We have so much boost that I could maybe turn into money. I just don't have the text to do it. The academy, not doing particularly well. Exodus, 96 out of 100. Love your work. Negative on volatiles, but doing great on most of the other resources. I'm happy with that. The initiative, not particularly active in space ever since we took their stuff, but they're still positive, so they will get there eventually. And here is yet another -2 on enthrall mission technology available, so we can really, at this stage, start stacking technologies that give us resistances against alien missions, be they Terra or enthrall. We can really start to fortify our nations. You've got to imagine humanity first, scanners, security personnel in protective gear, with all sorts of upgrades in technology, and suspicion everywhere just to make sure that the Hydra cannot use ferrocytes to infiltrate our communities. I think we're starting to get a handle on it. The thing we need to watch for now is aliens landing on Earth. If we can contain that, if we can prevent the alien administration being founded, then we're in a good position. And the aliens have decided we cannot have nice things, so we will accept this engagement. We will auto-resolve this engagement. And it looks like they were okay, we got them damaged, we lost that, and the Shinobi remains operational. So they departed the battle. We didn't actually lose. That's more than I expected. I do wish that the Resistance would hurry up and build some MC so I could sell them the ISS. But hey, you know, losing ships will also reduce my MC cap, I suppose. I have been chasing this bloody War Dog on series for bloody ever. It's evaded destruction once, and now I'm going to have to rig a module with an alien specimen that for some reason was on our bloody series base has escaped. Oh, there we go. Great, okay, so... Oh, and we're sabotaging... Okay, people are sabotaging our stuff. I'm going to have to rebuild this station. The power generators luckily look like they're still in place. The nano factory is going to complete. That's fine. So what we need to do is rebuild the skunk works. Destroyed construction module. I'm thinking I convert that. No, this base definitely needs some layered defense arrays. So we'll turn that into a layered defense array. We'll turn that... Oh, no, we can't power it. Bugger. Okay, so we're going to need to turn this into a fusion reactor so that we can upgrade everything in turn. Bloody War Dog. And now we can do Research University. Fantastic. So I'm going to replace... I don't need Tin Droplet. No, I don't need... I can wait on this. I cannot wait on this. Research University. That's going to be a good time. So as soon as Colony Habs finishes, Research Universities, those are going on the surface of Mercury, and I'm not looking back. Our energy research bonus is temporarily really low because we're rebuilding all of our stations, but we will finish deuterium helium-3 as one of our next techs. This will go way up once we finish our energy research stations, but for the moment, I can prioritize Research University because pumping more research through will also help. With ultracapacitors, magnetic plasma confinement, and deuterium helium-3 fusion, we're getting closer to the sort of technologies we want. And these laser batteries are a nice stand-in that will equip our defense stations properly if we have to fight before we're truly ready. What I'm pushing towards are phasers and also a proper fusion drive, which will be fun if we can surprise the aliens with it. encrypted research systems is just because I am sick and tired of people sabotaging and stealing my technology. They need to rack off, and that means we actually need to learn to put a password on our bloody research systems that isn't bloody password. So here's the research university. Now this thing costs a boatload of water and volatiles, but we can partly substitute for that with agricultural complexes. The key here is the 104 cash income, so it can add up quickly, but... Oh, and the -1 mission control, which makes these not particularly great in some circumstances. You can get by on using more of the T2s in your T2 stations. So what I'm probably going to do is transition my what can go to tier 3 without being a mission control module. Those get transitioned to the tier 3 stations. The tier 2 stations that are left over, and there will be a lot of them because we're going to have to upgrade mining stations that are tier 1s to be tier 2s because only tier 2s can at all defend themselves. Those are going to be where the research students go. Using tier 2 so we don't eat up mission control. It's just more efficient that way, I think. I haven't done the math, but at the same time, 200 science income per month is not bad. You get 50 for a research campus, you get 200 for one of these research universities. But at the same time, I find this mission control cost a little bit oppressive. The next thing we need is the actual HABs themselves for our planets. There we are, colony core. That keeps maximum priority. Once that's completed, priority goes back to the top level technologies. These are all good. These are good. This is good. September for finishing heavy green arc. Great. Colony cores are going to be our next set of upgrades. They're going to help us both increase critical mining yields, but also start fortifying some of our surface installations in a big way. And there we are, colony cores. So this is going to be used for our most critical high yield mining locations in order to get better value out of them. And the ones on Mercury are also attractive because those aren't just there for mining, those are there for all of the additional slots and the amazing solar efficiency. So I'm going to go set a couple of stations to upgrade now, but I'm starting to get pretty close to my limits. If I eliminate the last of my fleets, I should be able to get down to 166 or 164. If I get rid of stations I don't want, I may have to abandon some stations rather than sell them because no one has spare MC at the moment. And I don't have a way to boost the MC of these these factions rather easily. I may have to abandon some to buy more space. But what I really need to do is every critical mining location that I can't afford to lose needs to be at least tier 2. The critical surface installations need to be tier 3, and we can push ourselves up to maybe 180, 184. And unless we're then willing to get the third mission control extension safety technology, we need to seriously consider when we start planning for a rush to, if not parity, certainly a rush to conflict, a rush to permanent conflict, which is certainly on the cards. So colony core is now done. I don't want the heavy green arc. I want the medium. I probably want the medium arc laser batteries, unless we think we're going to have phases in time. If we think we're going to have phases in time, I don't need them. I think I'm going to pick up ferrocite liability theory at a low priority. Keep pushing these, and hope that I get to phases before we start getting serious engagements again. Now with the surface T3 unlocked, it's time to create a couple of surface fortresses. These are going to be the level 3 mining bases with battle stations, defenses, and level upgraded mines that guarantee us at least our base resource income, even if everything else goes to shit. My plan here is to go up to 180 mission control. I have 176 active right now, so that's my goal. I'm also going to disband the last of my fleet, because the higher I can make this number before I decide to stick my head out, the better. Also, what I'm doing is, as I've talked about, I think before, transitioning as the level 3 stations come online, I will transition some of the level 2 surface bases that are going to stay level 2 surface bases to being research campuses, because I'm happier with this level 2 version of the building. It creates 100 science every month, and most importantly, it does not require mission control to upkeep, and we're going to have level 2 bases, because I don't want to surrender all of them. we're going to disband some, and we're going to convert some to research centers, while all the operations center material, that all moves to the tier 3s that use the 2 mission control creating one, and agricultural centers to offset the water and volatile income. So it's all about efficiency. What I want to do is pick a few choice locations to become level 3s, and others, in some cases, particularly asteroids that cannot be defended any other way, those have to become level 2s. Everything else will sprint to level 2 once we decide to stick our head out, and hopefully they survive. Some bases won't, because without being able to upgrade to level 2 or 3, they won't have any defenses. They're probably going to get wiped out, but we can work with what we've got. So Olympus Mons, one of our original bases here, 36 nobles, 15. This is a good place to be one of the Mars fortresses. And I believe there was another Mars fortress here. Here we are, Utopia Planitia. Utopia Planitia is responsible for 24 fissile income. It can go higher. Between the two of them, they're responsible for not half, but a reasonable amount of our fissile income. So there we are. There's 2 selected fortresses on Mars. On Mercury, I want to select probably one of the nanofactory centers and anything with a decent potential mining outcome. So this one here is a potential, although this is being remodeled into research campuses. This might do. I do think this actually might be a good level 3, which makes it unfortunate that I'm modeling it. I could adjust these buildings now. It wouldn't cost me that much. I might do that. So I'm going to colony core that one just because it's got greater mining potential. I probably want one more. Actually, no, what I want is to go to series. Middle asteroid belt, series. I want to go to our most productive one, which is this one. Great. Now, if I'm right, do I have a station? Yeah, so things like Friendship Station here, I need to get rid of. I don't want it. I'm going to build my ships probably on the surface. The ships that I'm going to be building are going to have enough acceleration to get off series without any particular difficulties. Like, they're not going to need a space station overhead. So if I can sell this to the Resistance, I will. Otherwise, or to anyone else for that matter, otherwise it's going to be the abandoned station option. So let me go look at Friendship Station, because it's costing me upkeep that I want to spend on something else. I might do that. And so, as our fortresses in space and on the surface move towards completion, our economy suffers temporarily because a whole bunch of structures are being rebuilt, including mines, which is driving this down, and also all of our nanofactories are busy. Instead of making cash, they're building buildings, so everything looks bad at the moment, but it will improve. We're going to close out by setting max to destroy this base. I'm hoping that none of my level 3 stations get engaged by the retaliation mission. Hopefully what they'll do is they'll go after the ships that I still have up and running. They'll burn off their hate, and hopefully they will not see what's coming. Humanity is taking a lot of punches. We've killed some aliens, we've denied a landing. There will be more. And I'm sure the aliens think that given enough time, they'll be able to overcome us. But our countries are pretty united behind our vision for the world. They know what we have to do, and with the scientific output that we have and things like Z-pinch fusion reactors, tin droplet radiators on the run, we're encrypting our research systems, we're moving towards all sorts of interesting technology, including, hopefully eventually, phased lasers. Well, once those fortresses are finished, we can move on to the next stage of the Humanity First plan. See you soon. And as a nice little coda, Exodus gets the International Space Station. How cool's that?